Do you think this experience have some impact directly or indirectly on what you are currently doing as was the first interaction, or how did you land into Shopify platform? Interesting. So currently are almost like a 9 or 10 years of doing Shopify development. The experience before the COVID and during the COVID, being someone who is like a specialized in Shopify development, I think it's still the case. It's still hard to get into Shopify team, especially the Shopify team store, like with approval process that are long.
It was a long process. It honestly was. Review and approval process was like maybe 6 months. Like it was pretty long. It kind of sucks when like you work on a project for like a year and then like you have to do like another 4 or 5 months for review.
And what is the thing that you will get back from that approval that you will get into Shopify team, not only in terms of sales but also in terms of like credibility?
90% of our revenue is now like selling our products, and then like 10% is like doing service work.
You are building a Shopify team that might or might not get approved by Shopify team, and you are leaving money on the table because you are not billing client and you are using resources to be able to build Shopify
If
team.
if you're getting views, that's like free marketing. And if you were to do anything else, sell it on your own, you have to do all that marketing yourself. Getting like thousands of visitors to our like theme listings from like Singapore and like Hong Kong, and it's like clearly just bot traffic, which is like potentially bringing down our ranking.
To know what is the thing that was most challenging during this entire journey. It's always like a good to be part of someone else's story in a good way,
Yeah.
for sure.
Like if you ask like, oh, like should I do this? Like, is this a good solution? They're like, that's a great solution. I'm like, are you sure?
So welcome guys to a Little Scott podcast, a podcast where we interview software engineer to share the entrepreneurial story. And here we are on episode number 13, and we have Thomas from Brick Space Labs. He is the founder of Bricks Space Lab. He is one of behind the scene of some popular Shopify team like Keystone, Paper, and Space. He got his bachelor degree of commerce and e-business from Humber College, and we will be diving more about Thomas' story after this quick intro.
Thank you. So I'm excited to be here.
Thank you. So thank you, Thomas, for joining us for today's episode. It will be a pleasure hosting you for today's episode. So can you give the audience an introduction, more insights about yourself, so people that doesn't know you will know more about you?
Intro about me. I mean, I feel like you kind of covered most of it, but yeah, I can give you the quick intro. I run a software business called Brickspace Lab, and we sell Shopify themes. Right now, we have 3 themes available. We're working on a 4th. We're a small team, but I've been in the Shopify like development ecosystem for over 5 years now, and I've been in like web development maybe for like 10 years, self-taught, and yeah, I mean that's kind of the short story of it.
Awesome, that's great. So for the first question that I usually ask, and I love this question so much because how this like a story of web development started. How was your first interaction with computer as someone who is liking to code?
My first introduction to computers, I would say, I mean, like at a very young age, like the first introduction would probably be video games. Like I remember playing the original like PlayStation 1 when that came out, and definitely being like kind of fascinated by that, like how do games work. I remember growing up as a kid like, oh, I want to make video games, like that seems so cool. That was definitely the first introduction. I never really like went into that at all, but like it was like something that like maybe sparked a bit of an interest from that early age. In terms of like actual coding, didn't I didn't actually get into that until like college, where there was like some like intro level courses, and I did that, and then like kind of started like getting interested in it at the same time, and started like teaching myself on top of like some of the like classes I was in.
Interesting. That's great. So it does like I remember me like a PlayStation 1 and Atari, if people that know about it. That's really great. And
Hmm.
like how was the switch from being someone who is like I would like to explore what is behind the scene of a game, and what is like curiosity behind that, how this one switch from something that is just would like to discover to something that is, I would say, a passion, to something that is will be you can make money from it.
Yeah, that was also something I was thinking about this like a lot of a lot of the time really like growing up. I think I've always kind of been like an entrepreneurial like minded person. Like just like growing up doing like yard sales and like selling things like to classmates, like that kind of stuff. And I knew that was like something that I'd want to do, like maybe start my own business or have something that gives me freedom like that. And as I was like maybe like getting older, going through college, like seeing how the internet enables like entrepreneurship on like maybe a more open way, like you can build a software product and sell it anywhere globally. And like that really opened the doors to me like, wow, like I can learn to code, I can build a business. All I need is a laptop. So knowing that was definitely part of like the motivation for me. It's like, okay, this is like a legit career path. Like if I figure this out, I can do something with it.
Yeah, makes sense. That's great because like the thing about especially about like a software product, and
Hmm.
especially if you are like a someone who is like already know uh, like a development and coding, you will be like have zero investment other than the time that you will be putting in. So because most of the things are pretty accessible in terms of hosting and other provider, so the only thing that I would say that will be the expense, it will be the development cost, and you will already know how to develop things, so it will be just like a putting the time in, and just like a sacrificing the time and make sure and set up in yourself for success to be able to make software project or a tool a success.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like when I was first getting into coding, I was like, it was didn't feel like much of a sacrifice, but I was like locked in, and I would just be like coding for like 12 hours, like nonstop, and just I kind of caught the bug, and like it was like kind of fun. It was like a puzzle, I guess, like learning new things. Like once you get like a taste of it, like you just want to like keep going. Um, so yeah, I mean, maybe that's a bit of workaholism, but like at that
Yeah.
at that point in my life, it was very helpful to have that.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, like I also like I remember some of the time that I was in early like learning how to code. I was like a spending one time that I remember exactly. I was like a spend I spent like a 16 to 17 hours a day to learn to code. It was like horrific. It wasn't like something that is good, but it was
Yeah.
something that I was like remember from that period, which is like something that is, I would say it's good to be able to spend some time to be able to learn your craft and make sure that you are like building some product to be able to improve your skills and make sure that you are top of like the stuff that you are working on, which is really great. And also this will be leading me to one of the questions. So currently you have a bachelor degree from commerce and e-business,
Yeah.
and you learn how to code the software way. Did you like have a job that is not related to web development first, and after that you switch to like being a developer? How was? Did you ever use your bachelor degree in some sense in a professional way? I would say.
Yeah, yeah. That's a good question. So I not really. Well, maybe for a bit. So I did do an internship at this company called Student Car Share, which isn't around anymore, but at the time they were like a car sharing company similar to like Zipcar. And I was kind of hired as like a intern, and I was doing all kinds of things, but it was like primarily marketing. Um, but since I had a bit of like coding experience, I ended up doing like a lot of work on their website as well, like building landing pages, like installing Facebook pixels, like maybe more technical marketing things. Um, and that kind of like opened the maybe like got me introduced to like that direction in my career. Like, oh, okay, like I can do the development stuff and make that a career. And truthfully, the marketing stuff like wasn't that. appealing to me. So I'm happy I kind of pivoted away from that.
Makes sense. And also, do you think the marketing experience or the marketing academic way has some good impact on what you are currently running? Because you are currently the founder of Brexel Lab, which is a Shopify agency. There is will be like a good part of development, but also there will be like some part of business and marketing. Do you think this experience have some impact directly or indirectly on what you are currently doing as a founder?
In terms of marketing, yes and no. I feel like every day I get confused about marketing and how to sell our products. I mean, as much as like, yeah, I've done Facebook ads, I've done these other things, like it just feels completely different to do it for like our business and like a software business selling Shopify themes. It's like not like a typical like consumer product. So, yes, yes and no. Like I have experience doing some of that stuff, but like never really done it for software, and I don't know how much those things like correlate, especially because I guess our marketing just feels like confusing in the sense that like it's hard to see what's working. So I'm always like at that stage where I just feel like I'm throwing things at the wall, waiting for something to stick, and there isn't always sticking.
Yeah, it makes sense. Because I asked this question because also I study a bachelor degree in commerce and marketing, and
Hmm.
one of the things that I learned during my academic experience is some stuff that helped me with the, like I would say my freelance stuff or something that is related to what I'm doing as a web developer and like I would say freelancer. So this is like why I ask this question because sometimes you don't like realize some part that you learn in like a academic way that you think is useless, but when you are doing something in real life you will have some aha moment. I learned about that in like my in a class or like doing a study or something like this. So this is like just like the context of why I asked this question specifically.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like I was in like school so long ago. It's like hard for me to like really even remember any of that. Like, and I'm sure like I do like subconsciously reference that like knowledge periodically, but like honestly, I feel like most of what I do on a day to day, like I've just learned by doing. Like I didn't start a business knowing how to run a business. I didn't start coding knowing how to do everything in a Shopify theme. Like I definitely remember picking up like development jobs, freelance jobs, like never having done that thing before and then just learning it on the spot. That's just kind of more of the person of who I am. Like I just learn by doing. So I've
Yeah,
always
makes
just
sense.
been like, yeah, let me figure this out. I can get it done for you. And 90% of the time, like I'll figure it out, or 10% of the time, it's just not possible.
Yeah, makes sense. I always like learn by doing, but just like sometimes that, as you mentioned, like it will be subconsciously that you will reference something from like at the like at school or like something like it's
Yeah,
related to
yeah.
that. So just would like to mention that. And like talking about currently, you are the founder of Brex Lab, which is a Shopify specific dev agency that is developing Shopify team and also helping other client with the setuping of their Shopify team, customizing everything. So it will be a Shopify dev shop, also a Shopify lab for developing a team. So what was the first interaction or how did you land into Shopify platform? Like, are you being a user? Did someone like
Mhm.
refer you to like a freelance gig?
Yeah, so it was a bit of both. Before getting into Shopify, I was kind of just doing freelance web design or web development for anything. Like,
Ah, okay,
so I didn't
makes
really
sense.
have a specific focus. So it was honestly like, from a business point of view, like, it was hard to find clients because there wasn't really a focus in our or my specific skills. So like it was hard to be like, okay, like does anyone need a web designer? Versus like, oh, like I'm a Shopify designer, like this is what I do, I can help you with this. I know who to go to. So yeah, there wasn't a focus when I first started. So I remember doing like WordPress things, like random landing pages, like different email flows, like all kinds of sort of stuff. But around that time, I did figure out, okay, like e-commerce is a thing. Shopify is like a growing software. Definitely looks like it's top of the game in terms of like e-commerce providers. So I went in to figure out more about that, started playing around with it a lot, and I actually started my own Shopify business, like merchant, with my girlfriend and I. We started selling like t-shirts with maps on them. And I think like at least 50% of the motivation to do that was just I just wanted to build a website on Shopify, basically. So like that was like a big learning experience, and there was like a lot of like technical things that went into like the website. Like we had like a Mapbox integration, and it would like show you like products based on like your location. So if you're in like Toronto, like it would show you like here's a shirt with Toronto on it. So like that was like a big part of like learning Shopify, and then like throughout that time I like started picking up more work for like Shopify specific clients as well. So it kind of just snowballed from there. Like you get one client, you get another client. I'm building this website at the same time, and after like a year or two, like I've got tons of experience.
Awesome. Funny enough that you are in the same city as the Shopify headquarters.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
That's funny. And like at which time we are talking about when you switch from being like I would say general web developer to being a Shopify specific developer or designer.
That was like 2016, 2017. I think that's around the time where we were doing the t-shirt business. And then I also joined on StoreTasker, if you're familiar.
Yes.
And then I was picking up more freelance gigs through StoreTasker for Shopify specific clients at that time. Yeah. And then just did like freelance for probably like 2 or 3 years, just solo.
Interesting. So currently are almost like a 9 or 10 years of doing Shopify development.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
honestly, like it's been a while for sure. The first few years I was like doing like solo, like just myself, and then like in 2018 I think I hired someone, and then like we've just been like kind of a small team since then.
Awesome. That's great. And also in the same time that you mentioned, which is 2018, you started in January of 2018 Bricks
Yeah,
Base Lab, which is the lab behind the Shopify team. How
yeah.
was this move from being a solo developer to having your own company and you will be developing Shopify team? And how was the first client or interaction? It was like a from the first that you started the company, you have been doing like a freelance client or you have been building Shopify team?
Yeah, that transition, I mean, I guess it took a while. I mean, like I said, I learned by doing, and I've never hired someone before, so that was like a learning experience in itself. Um, but I think I was just at that point in like my career where it's like I was getting more work than I couldn't do it all myself, so it just had to happen. And it was kind of it was very like smooth. Like we're pretty much like doing the same stuff I would be doing, but with extra help. And then it honestly wasn't until like maybe like 2020 until we started working on like themes for the theme store. But before that, we were still just doing like client projects.
Makes sense. Okay. That's great. And how was the experience before the COVID and during the COVID, being someone who is like a specialized in Shopify development? How was the spike of like a client that you are getting or project that you are getting during that period
Um,
of switching to online?
yeah, honestly, there wasn't like I don't know if I noticed much of a change during COVID, like at least in our business. Like we had client, they were still like needing work done. They still like needed development help. So like I don't know if there was like there definitely wasn't a drop in our business. I don't know if there's like a tick up, like a substantial tick up. I think it was just like we just kept kept on the same trend basically.
Okay, makes sense. Because I asked this question because, like one of the guests in the season number 1 of the
Mhm.
podcast, it was Kylie from the Tap Room, and we discussed this movement of like a spike in term of like a getting project during the COVID, like area, and after that it was like a very like a decent in terms of number of projects, and a lot of people are declining or abandoning the projects because of like a going back to offline. So I just would like to get like a reference about the same area from a different company, from a different
Yeah,
agency.
yeah. I mean, like a lot of our clients were seeing like good traction, like like they were seeing like almost like good sales, but like that didn't really like correspond to us. And truthfully, that's probably because like we're just a small team and like we can't do like at the time doing freelance work like if we're maxed out on the number of projects we can do, like we can't just take on more work. As much as there might have been more work available, we just couldn't do it all.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, got the point. And after that, as you mentioned in 2020, 2020, you start
Hmm.
developing Shopify team. How
Yeah.
was the first idea of getting into Shopify team? Because I remember, and I think it's still the case, it's still hard to get into Shopify team, especially the
Hmm.
Shopify team store, like with approval process that are long. Also, the opening are not like quite frequent and quite open as the Shopify App Store, so you
Hmm.
need to wait to be able to have the option or the opportunity to submit the Shopify team to the Shopify team store to get approved, and there are a lot of like a checklist that you need to take to be able to get approved. How was the idea, and from the idea into the first Shopify team approval, how was the like an
Yeah,
experience?
it was a long process. It honestly was. The first theme we made, like I think the like review and approval process was like maybe 6 months. Like it was pretty long. And the actual like I would say probably over a year, like from when we first started to like when it like launched. I don't exactly remember, but I would say over a year. And I mean, the process was like, I mean, I think someone from Shopify actually reached out to us and they were like, they said that they were looking for more companies to build themes. And I think previous to that, the theme store was like closed for submissions. But I
Yes.
remember like they opened it back up and that's when I was like, okay, like this is something we should do. Like I've wanted to do this for a while and it makes sense. So we just started working on it right away and it's definitely a long process. Like it's like a lot of upfront development, like and you really have to make sure you meet all of those requirements because it kind of sucks when like you work on a project for like a year and then like you have to do like another 4 or 5 months for review. I think even during that review process there was like things that we had to like take out like feature wise and then those features like ended up being released on like Shopify free themes later and then it's like okay we could just add those features back, so there's a lot of like back and forth that like felt maybe unnecessary, but at the end of the day it was like good to get on the theme store.
Makes sense. That's great. And the second question that I would like to ask specifically about the Shopify app, the Shopify team submission is what is the ROI or return in investment? Because you mentioned that you will be putting some upfront development and also the review process will be longer. And what is the thing that you will get back from that approval that you will get into Shopify team? Not only in terms of sales, but also in terms of like credibility, because you will be one of the few like agency or like a company that have some Shopify team approved on the Shopify team store. So we'll give some credibility, some brand awareness to your company or to your agency. How do you evaluate that? I would say.
Before we were selling Shopify themes, like our entire business was like based on client work. So we would have to find projects, build like custom work for like Shopify websites, and that's how we were making money, like billing clients basically. But since we've released Shopify themes, it's like our revenue shared like pretty much split. So well, maybe not split, but like much further into Shopify themes. So like maybe like 90% of our revenue is now like selling our products and then like 10% is like doing service work, like billing clients. So it's definitely come in and like kind of swap that around in terms of like our business model, which is like what I was hoping for, honestly. But it's a long process to get there, honestly.
Yeah, makes sense. And also in terms of like you mentioned that in terms of sales, that is currently 90% of the revenue is coming from the Shopify team and the product that you are selling, and 10%
Mhm.
is coming from the service that you provide. And also in terms of like a brand awareness. So for like the question like what is the impact that you are getting from submitting a Shopify team and getting approved over the Shopify team app store impact on the brand itself or breaks Space Lab brand awareness? Are people are talking about it, mention it, know about it through the Shopify App Store or to
Yeah,
Shopify Team Store, I would say.
yeah. Feedback has been like a really hard thing to to manage or even like get for Shopify themes. And I think a big part of that is because it's like on the theme store, we don't really have access to do as much like marketing, like in terms of like feedback and like collecting customer insights, just because like the theme store is like it's controlled by Shopify, so we don't really like we can't go in and like put like a survey on like our theme listing page. Like we can't like ask for specific things or like how you might go after get collecting feedback for like your own company. Like a lot of that is harder to do. But I will say like just listing on like just listening to like customer support, like people who email in about issues, that's been like probably the number one place for us to get feedback, just based on like what isn't working. So I think the first year when our theme paper came out, it wasn't doing the best in terms of sales for the first year or so, and like that's when, or it wasn't doing like as good as it is now, and that's like a lot of like throughout that first year there was a lot of going back and forth, updating the theme, listening to feedback, fixing bugs, listening to feedback, releasing this new feature people want, like and yeah, I mean that was just like a long process. Like, okay, we want to get this theme to a point where like people can use it and like it and enjoy it. It just took a lot of feedback, basically listening, waiting, letting people find the app, letting people find the theme, install it, hear
Makes
their
sense.
thoughts.
Okay, got the point. And also, like you mentioned a couple of things that I would like to get your idea about. Currently, there is a risk of building a Shopify team and getting approved because it will be some upfront development. It's not like a some like a just light work. It will be like a maybe 6 months to a year of just developing the Shopify team. Other than that, will be some review process that will be hefty to be able to get approved by the Shopify team, which is good to be able to meet the standard that Shopify is looking for. And what do you think? And also, what are the trade-off that you are pushing in because you are building a Shopify team that might or might not get approved by Shopify team, and you are leaving money on the table because you are not building client and you are using resources to be able to build Shopify team. What is the trade-off that you are putting in the table for building a Shopify team that will be go specifically to Shopify App Store? Because I know there is a couple of other companies that are building Shopify team, but they are not meant to be published over the Shopify team App Store to be able to go to third-party supplier or to their own platform to buy their license for the team.
Yeah, honestly, that is something I've considered a lot. And I mean, it's a big trade-off. The theme store is obviously like a marketplace that gets tons of traffic. So if you are on it and if you do and if you are getting visibility on the theme store, then like it makes sense to be there and it's like worth the review process. It's worth going through the requirements and like meeting all that stuff, because like if you're getting views, that's like free marketing. And if you were to do anything else, sell it on your own, you have to do all of that marketing yourself. Like if we were to just sell themes on our own website, our website doesn't get views the way that the Shopify theme store gets views. But if we were to do that, we would be able to control the marketing a lot more. But I don't think I have the capacity to do that right now. So at this point, it's it's let's build a really good product and get get in the theme store and hope that that marketing, the network, and the marketplace will reward us for just having a really good product.
Yeah, makes sense. That's a really good point because yeah, there's a big trade-off to be able to just rely on one platform and putting a lot of work upfront to be able to get approved, which is a great to be able to hear that is worth the trade-off to be able to get there because as we mentioned, there's a couple of things that need to be checked. And other than that, like a so currently you have three Shopify team. You mentioned the first one was paper, maybe the second one is Keystone and other one is Space, which
Hmm.
is currently on the Shopify App Store and is a part of like what you are building. So currently you are only specific to developing Shopify team. Have you ever considered building maybe Shopify apps or something around that to be able to extend the offering because you're already in Shopify?
Yeah, yeah. I have thought about themes or have thought about building an app, and I still am actively. That's just something where it's hard to split like my time and focus between different things like that. And I mean, I always say this to other people, like, oh, if something's working in your business, just do more of the same thing. And I always, I forget that I say that to other people because I always try to do other things and like I guess so chaotic and like I guess my focus. And I need to remember, like, okay, we're selling Shopify themes, our themes are selling. Let's just do more of this. Like, this is working, which has been the focus. But I won't lie and say that there's been times and like often where I'm like thinking about building other things and uh, taking the business in a different direction. That's definitely still something I think about all the time.
Makes sense. That's great. So that's great thing to hear because I think because you're already in Shopify, already familiar with all of stuff about like the platform limitation. So it will be like I would say have all the knowledge to be able to build a Shopify app in terms of the platform knowledge.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, it's on my radar. I do want to do it, but we'll just have to figure out when and where and how.
Yeah, it's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
That's great. And talking about the stuff that you mentioned, would you like to mention some numbers, maybe sales if you don't mind sharing, maybe reviews, anything that you would like to share with the audience that you are comfortable with? You can share it here in terms of numbers related to the Shopify team.
Numbers. I don't know how comfortable I am sharing numbers, but I mean, our business is doing well, but I mean, I will also say that like the thing with being on the theme store is like the marketplace is unpredictable and like rankings and algorithms change all the time. And there's like a lot of maybe like the theme store is like a bit susceptible to like less than like people kind of like gaming the system. There's been like some people doing like there's been a lot of like spam traffic on the theme store as well, which hasn't been confirmed, but like it seems to be affecting like the algorithm and how it ranks themes. So we've noticed a lot, like at least in the past 2 months, where we've been getting like thousands of visitors to our like theme listings from like Singapore and like Hong Kong, and it's like clearly just bot traffic, which is like potentially bringing down our rankings. So instead of having like a higher install rate, now we're getting a ton of like visitors to our listing who aren't installing. Now we're lower in the rankings, and that had like a really big hit on us for our sales this month, which was unfortunate. It's like these are just things that we can't control. They're just outside of our control. But yeah, I mean, other than that, it's good. You just have to like kind of roll with the punches, just ride the
Yeah,
wave pretty much.
sorry to hear that. And also, talking about this issue, do you think it's better to have other alternative that does, or maybe it's part of the contract? I'm not sure about like a, for example, when you are submitting a Shopify team to the Shopify team store, are you signed to be exclusive on the Shopify team store, or you have the right to be able to sell in your own platform or third party platform, so you don't have to rely on one platform to get the traffic and to get sales from?
There is an exclusivity agreement, but I have been thinking about like how where that line is drawn because like I have been thinking about like okay, if we sell our theme on the theme store, can we sell presets and like settings like okay, you buy the theme on the theme store, can you then go to our website and buy like oh, here are the settings. You can click here and it'll update your theme to look like Nike or to look like Gymshark or to look like super minimal or maybe it'll look more like this website. So that's something I've thought about and I actually haven't talked to Shopify. I don't know if that's something that would be against terms of service, but there is an exclusivity agreement. I just don't know where that line is drawn. I mean, like, I know we could even like take a theme and then like customize it and then sell it somewhere else. But like, at what level of code similarity does it count as like selling the same theme?
Yeah,
I'm
makes
not
sense.
sure. So I think that's maybe like something on a case by case basis, but generally it's supposed to be exclusive to the theme store.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, it does make sense because yeah, as I mentioned, sometimes it's pretty hard to be able to rely on one platform because, as you mentioned, there's a couple of trade-off. As you mentioned, like the ranking that will
Hmm.
be impacted because of like some random spam or some other factor that you don't have control over because of the competition or like a unethical competition, I would say, that you can have that you cannot have control over, which is really hard, and you have to contact the platform to be able to push them to update the algorithm and to take that in consideration, which will be taking a lot of time and a lot of pressure from other like a client or like a vendor to be able to push the platform to do so. So it's yeah, it does make sense. And like currently moving on to other like a topic. So currently, I would say, what is the most challenging stuff that you have been going through with this journey of from being a general web developer, doing specifically Shopify, doing only Shopify, like as a freelancer, solo freelancer, building your own company, setting Shopify team, until now, what is the thing that was most challenging during this entire journey?
The most challenging thing, I think, is just maybe for me is just to know what to focus on, and I guess that maybe that's like a challenge as like a founder, having at least for me, I always feel like there's like a million options. Like, yes, we can build Shopify themes, but we could also build Shopify apps, and we could also for marketing, we could do Facebook ads, or we could do content, we can do videos, or we can do this stuff. And quickly running a business, it's the list is like ginormous on the things you can do. And I think the biggest challenge for me has always just been like focus and like, okay, like what what do I sit down and like actually do day to day and like really make it this like a goal for maybe the year has always just been like, okay, let me sit down, let me do this thing. Once you kind of figure that out and like actually stick to it and be consistent, I think the rest is kind of easy, honestly. Like if you're doing something and like you're doing it well and it's working out, the actual work isn't too hard. It just like it takes time and it's not easy, but it's like simple. Like just do the work, make a Shopify theme, make it really good, and I don't know. That's the rest.
Yeah, makes sense. So the conclusion that I would get is to focus on one thing, do it the best that you can, and
Yeah.
maybe later on move on to other stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, makes sense. That's great. And what are the thing that you would like to focus on later on? You mentioned the Shopify apps. What are the other things that you would like maybe to focus on for not only for Shopify but maybe other than Shopify?
I mean, in our business, we're still 100% in on Shopify. Um, so yeah, the main focus now is building a new Shopify theme, which our new theme is going to be built similarly to Horizon. So it's gonna have like theme blocks. So if you've used Horizon yet, you've played around with theme blocks, so you can like build different layouts. You have like nested components basically. You can have like a grid. You can put like a table inside a grid or accordion, so it's going to
Makes
be
sense.
like super modular and flexible that way. That's the main focus. I don't know if there's anything else besides that. Just do that, maintain everything else we're doing, support our customers, help our customers thrive, get user themes as best they can, or use our themes, and I don't know, have fun while we're doing it.
That's great. So I think we cover some good ground about all the professional thing that you are doing. And
Hmm.
currently, I would love to get what is a day to day of Thomas running the startup Also, you can include some personal stuff if you would like to.
Yeah, okay. My life. Yeah, so I would say day to day, recently in the summer, it's been a lot of different things, but wake up, you know, get some food, go for a walk, probably then work. Uh, maybe yeah, so do that, and then I think after that I've been doing like a lot of swimming, running, go to the beach. We're very lucky we live close to a few lakes, so just drive down, jump in the water. Honestly, just been trying to get outside as much as possible. Like it's a beautiful summer. I've been skateboarding more, biking around, all that kind of stuff.
Makes sense. That's great. And also one thing that I saw over the Shopify, not the Shopify, but over your LinkedIn profile that you are like doing like a snowboard instructor as well.
Yeah, that was
That was a
I'm
long time
surprised
ago.
that's still there.
That was a long time ago. I
Um,
think 2010.
2010, yeah,
Yeah.
15 years ago. Yeah, I was that was one of the first jobs I've had. I was maybe like the third or fourth job I've had, but yeah, I was a snowboard instructor during high school, and I mean that was a lot of fun. I still love snowboarding, so that's a big part of my life. Definitely in the winter, snowboarding, and yeah, if I wasn't into coding, I'd maybe still be a snowboard instructor somewhere.
That's really funny that the stuff that you mentioned because the first thing that you are in Toronto, which is the same headquarter of Shopify, you are a
Hmm.
snowboard instructor, which is similar to what Toby first started Shopify, which is a snowboard shop that he's trying
Yeah,
to build and build Shopify. So kind of similarity does make the like the story is like a quite
totally,
not
totally.
funny but like a unique in term of way in some way.
Like I always see that too, and I've been like, oh, one day I gotta like snowboard with Toby and like
Yeah.
see what that's like. Or there's got to be like some sort of like Shopify ski and snowboard like crossover. Like get to the hill, like see who's like shredding. That would be
That
really
would be
cool.
funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really great. So I think the other stuff that I would love to cover as well for the podcast episode is what are the thing or the stuff that you are really proud of during your journey that you would like to in your top of your head what is the thing that you are most so proud of like a three things two things it
Yeah.
doesn't matter about the numbers.
That's not something I think about often, and maybe that's thanks for bringing that up. But yeah, I don't really think about things I'm proud of that often. That's probably something I should do. But I would say now that you're asking me, honestly, just building a business that can support people, like having employees and paying them and supporting them having like support their family, and we're building software products that are being used by other people and they're building their business using our products and that's supporting people. Like it's just when you really think about it, it's very rewarding to just see how much the things we're doing is like impacting different people in different ways. Like I would love to see how many users or how many visitors have been on a website that uses our themes. It's probably numbers are probably crazy, but I have no idea. I wish I
Yeah.
could see that.
That makes sense. It's always like a good to be part of someone else's story in a good way
Yeah,
for sure. To be
yeah,
able to like have a good impact, especially like as
yeah.
a
Like I saw the other day. Like I didn't even know this, but the new Khloe Kardashian like popcorn brand launched, and they are using our space theme, and that's so cool. Like
yeah, that's
I
true.
love seeing brands launch using our themes, and I love looking at them like, dang, that looks really cool.
Yeah, you are doing the right thing.
Exactly.
That's really great. Yeah, it's always like a great to have like an impact, especially with like a business owner, because
Hmm.
it's like a snowball
Snowball.
effect. Snowball effect. You will
Yeah.
have like a lot of business using it, and other business will be have an impact on other business. So it will be make the ball rolling for that, which is really great and really good thing to be like proud of. And
Totally.
that the other question will be about what other thing that you would like to recommend to other people that would like to get into the same space that you are into, for someone who would like to be like a building Shopify team, maybe doing freelance. So something that would like that like heard about your story and would like to do something similar, or I would say similar in terms of like maybe a part of the journey or like the whole journey, I would say.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think my advice, if you want to like pursue like a career in like a technical field or like development in Shopify, like, and maybe you don't have that experience yet, like, just find one or two clients, and like that's how you can learn, like, and get paid doing it. And you're gonna learn a lot of things along the way. Like, finding clients is difficult, like paying them or getting paid, and then like doing the actual work, you're gonna discover like, oh, like this is something I'm into, or this is something I don't like doing, or this is a problem, and maybe someone should build an app or a product that helps this business is having a problem with, and I'm just doing this custom solution for them, and now maybe this could help other businesses, the same thing. So that would be my first recommendation if you want to like do anything entrepreneurial and you're just getting started, is just like do some freelance work. Like that way you can like learn the skill, like you can get a deeper understanding of the industry or this specific like thing you're doing, and you might get some insight on like what kind of product, if you want to like build a product business, like what options are out there basically for you.
Makes sense. Okay. I forgot one question that I would like to ask you during the interview, the first part, which is related to AI, and how do
Mhm.
you think AI will have impact on Shopify team specifically? Because we see a lot of Shopify apps, some Shopify feature that you can like a generative, like a content blog or some section in the Shopify team, how this will be impacting this kind of like I would say labs or Shopify Teams labs.
Anything with AI, I get a little I mean, I guess it's just hard to make any predictions because it changes so fast, and I can only really guess, because who knows what it's going to be like in like 10 years. The technology has just been like progressing like very fast, and it's hard to see exactly how that's going to be adapted or adopted, because of course that technology exists, but like how it's going to be used, like are merchants going to use this? Are they familiar with it? How is the software going to be packaged up? It's like there's a lot of unknowns. So I'm not completely sure, but I will say that like I think it makes sense that like in the coming years there will probably be more like AI systems or AI tools that can help Shopify merchants edit and update and maintain their websites. And to what degree, I don't know, but it could be something where it's like, help me update my website. And then it could be like the Shopify AI sidekick that's already like available that could just go in and like actually move things around on your theme. Like, oh, you've got this sale coming up. Let me put a banner up for you. And maybe it does that. But I mean, that would be really cool. It would be also cool to see like AI that like maybe is even doing that automatically, or is like monitoring your website for different things, like, oh, like the text on this page is not readable, like do you want me to fix it? Or this button is too small, you don't have a compelling call to action on this page, you should update it. I think that would be really cool to see like that kind of like automation built in. But yeah, I mean, I guess we'll only see. I know like we've been that's part of the reason like why I've been like trying to build like a modular Shopify theme, is like so it can be used by like an AI system, where like if like our new theme, like an AI system could like build different layouts, and like it could put like a table in here and like a grid in here and a slider in here, and it could make like really complex things, whereas like that might not be possible before. So I guess I don't know. We'll have to wait and see how it really all pans out.
Yeah, makes sense. So there is yeah, Sometimes you are making some assumption, but you don't know exactly what would be expected. But yeah, makes sense. I think the stuff that you are doing will be in the right direction of what you are like expecting, especially with this AI assistant getting a lot of things, especially with agent MCP. There's a lot of thing about like related to AI that can help with the process of building a Shopify team or a website in general, which is really fascinated at some point. And the last question that I would love to ask you about is what is the resources that you would like to share with us in terms of online resources, podcasts, newsletter, books, anything that you would like to share with us that will be like a beneficial to someone who is like listening to our podcast episode.
Um, Resources. I guess it depends on like what kind of resources.
Something that will be related to what we mentioned, something like tech entrepreneurship, building a business, something that will be also maybe a personal development that will be having an impact on your business in some way. So any like either of this topic will be beneficial to the audience.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like the biggest resource in my life has just been the internet, period. Like, and doing things. That's the only way I've ever kind of figured out entrepreneurship. Try something, Google it, read, try it again, do some reading. But yeah, I mean, I would say like also if you want to get into like coding, definitely check out freelancing. Definitely look into StoreTasker if you want to do like Shopify specific freelancing. Try and get onto there. That's a great place to like look for Shopify clients. If you want to do like Shopify coding, there's like a bunch of the Shopify courses, like the Shopify official ones that are pretty good. There's a bunch of like free coding courses too, all on YouTube. Yeah, I don't know. There's so much. But yeah, Google's the biggest resource, honestly.
Yeah. So you will have to have a good googling skills in to like
Yeah,
get what you want.
good Googling skills are number
Yeah.
one for sure.
Yeah. Or maybe right now we are not talking about googling by maybe like a prompting skills, because right now you are using less of Google and more of like a chat
Yeah,
GPT, Claude stuff. And also like there is also in terms of the stat is like maybe I saw somewhere that like the like a Google penetration of like the search engine is getting 1% less right now because of the AI like a booming and the stuff that is like taking some part of that, which does make sense.
yeah, yeah. I mean, even with that, it's like there's still some like, I mean, I don't know about you, but I've been like approaching like AI, especially in those like general questions, like with a bit of skepticism. Like,
Yeah,
I find
that's true.
that like I find that the systems like always tend to just like say yes. Like if you ask like, oh, like should I do this? Like, is this a good solution? They're like, that's a great solution. I'm like, are you sure?
Yeah, that's true. And a lot of time like I will be like a prompting and like a responding to the same question, and you will like it will be like a something that is the opposite of what the AI assistant will be mentioned, and they will say, ah, that's really good, like a thing to be able to add, and you will be refining. It's just like a trying not to mimic, but just like a trying to refine the answer that you are looking for, but not the exact answer that you should have.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
really is something that is like a bit bad about the AI assistant, but you should didn't trust them at like a blindly. I would say.
yeah, yeah. That's the thing. I think critical thinking is important, especially when it comes to using AI. Even in like coding, like if you're in
Yeah,
cursor and
sure.
you ask it for like a solution, it's like uh you definitely can't just hit yes on everything. Especially for like maybe like more like production like apps that you're like actually selling and using. It's fun to just say yes to everything if you're just like playing around and like seeing what happens, but it's uh it's not at that point yet where like it's 100%
It will
trusted.
mess up. It will mess up
Yeah,
the production. You will have some bugs that you will never show ever
yeah,
in the entire like a lifetime of the product.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was really great, like talking to you, to be able to share the story about the stuff that you have been working on. So we have a couple of minutes to be able to say whatever you would like to share with the audience, and the mic is yours.
Okay. Thank you so much for having me. It's been great. I just want to say, yeah, we have three Shopify themes available. If you are on Shopify or if you're a developer or agency that are looking for like a modular theme to use for developers, you can definitely check ours out. We've got three available. They're Paper, Space, and Keystone. And we've got a fourth one coming out later this year, and that will be using theme blocks similar to Horizon. Yeah, other than that, I don't really got much going on, so I hope everyone listening has a great rest of their day or year. And yeah, thanks for having me.
That's great. You are welcome. So all the things that you mentioned and all the link that we mentioned, that will be in the show note if you are listening from Spotify and or Apple Podcast, and if you are watching us from YouTube, you will see that in the video description. So thank you so much, Thomas, for staying and sharing your story with us. It was a pleasure hosting you for today's episode, and thank you for watching for the audience.